Hello.
I can't believe it's the time to be now Christmas.
I know. Wait, how long is it? Someone said 2 weeks the other day, so it must be, 10 days.
No.
Or from when we're filming this, yeah. I mean, from when we're filming this, 10 days, but right, when you guys will listen, it will be like literally a few days, I think.
Literally 3 days till Christmas.
Wow. I can't, honestly, I feel like it's come round so quickly.
I feel like this year has flown by.
And I find something quite like, I think I've said this before about New Year, but it's the same goes for Christmas. I find it something quite sad about Christmas time. I don't know why. There's something that makes me feel like quite emotional and sad about it.
It's because it's like the end of the year. Like you've gone through this whole year, and it's like this is nearing towards the end.
Yeah, and it's been a pretty rubbish year for me and you. So I feel like maybe I'm even more emotional this year. But yeah, I've just always found Christmas quite emotional. I sort of drive in my car, and at the moment, if nobody knows, Magic is 100% Christmas. And so I've got it on constantly to make me feel Christmassy. And I just feel like lots of the songs make me feel just really emotional. I'm constantly tearing up while I'm driving.
Yeah, the songs are a bit like emotional, aren't they? Like very like, last Christmas,
Oh.
I gave you my heart.
Oh wow,
Was that good?
Yes,
That was
thanks,
good.
Courtney,
That was
for
really
that.
in pitch as well.
That was what a Christmas treat. Courtney's singing.
I feel like they're all like love, like heartbreak love songs at Christmas.
Yeah, wait, what's the one where it's like there's like some really slow old ones. I can't even think right now, but they just make me feel sad. Just like the old school, like really, I don't know why. I think it makes me think probably of like family as well. You know, like past Christmases when like grandparents would be here and stuff, and like how much it's all sort of moved on, and also sort of like growing up. I feel like it's very evident at Christmas that each year is ticking by, and you know, being a child at Christmas is just the best thing ever.
God,
and
it's fully magical.
And we will just never have that again. And I know that that's all. My mum says to me, no, you will have that again when you have your own children. Like Christmas becomes amazing again.
To be fair, Callum's got nieces and nephews, and they still
So
believe
it's
in
nice.
Christmas. So that's why I love going around to his house, because it's like, I'm like, what did Santa bring you? And they're like, look what he got us. And they're all so excited. Obviously, I've got my nephew Hudson, even though he has no idea what Christmas is. I'm still excited to give him his presents.
I'm sure Courtney will still be dressing him up in all sorts of Christmas outfits. Have you ordered him a Christmas outfit
Yes,
yet?
he's got a onesie that says Hudson's First Christmas.
Yeah, I knew there would be something. There would always be something. Why don't you dress him up as little like Father Christmas and put a beard on it and everything?
Yeah, it is. He's got a beard and a hat, and it says his name on it. I can't wait to dress him up in that. Literally going to be pictures all over Instagram.
Yeah.
But what was your Christmas like growing up?
Well, this is going to sound like I really like Debbie Downer, but they were absolutely amazing until I was 7, and then my parents split up, and Christmas became for a few years anyway, for most of my childhood until I was a little bit older and I understood a bit more. But my Christmases were just not nice. All of a sudden, like my family was really separate. And up until 7 years old, they were just amazing and magical. And my mum and dad were together, and all the family were together. And after that, it just became a little bit, just like almost like a bittersweet time. I just felt sad because we'd have to split the day. My day ended up consisting of firstly, my parents' divorce was completely messy. It was not like some straightforward thing. So they were constantly arguing through us, which was no fun. And so there would always be an argument, and it would always be an argument probably like who was going to have me and my brother for Christmas dinner, who was going to have us waking up on Christmas Day. And it was always just this stupid, petty argument, everything the whole way through, not just Christmas, the whole year through. So it was just always, it became, we'd have to split Christmas up, and it would be sad because my mum's side of the family do a huge Christmas Day, and everyone's together, my cousins, my aunts, and I absolutely loved it. And we'd end up sometimes going there for a few hours, and then my dad would pick us up, and I'd be sad to leave my family. I'd feel like I was missing out, or vice versa, the other way around. So it was, obviously it sounds like I'm being such a Debbie Downer, but it was just kind of a bit rubbish really after 7. It was just sad.
How did they explain to you how Father Christmas comes to two different families?
I'm not sure they ever did, honestly. My parents were a nightmare. I don't really know. I think Father Christmas probably came to Mummy's house, I think, because we lived at my mum's house full time. We lived at my mum's house. So I think Father Christmas came to Mummy's house. But then I think maybe he come to Daddy's house as well and left things for us. I'm not really sure. I can't actually remember that part of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had lovely Christmases, yeah, but I just always remember a few years ago, my uncle converted all of these home videos because they were on like an old what's it called, like a video camera thing, and they were on like tapes and stuff, and he managed to like get them converted and put them on DVDs so we could watch them, and I'd actually never seen them before. I didn't even know they existed. And there's all of these Christmases with all of my family when my mum and dad are together, and it's just amazing, and they're filming like everyone open their presents and everyone's in such good moods. And then it kind of flicks and there's like a few years in between, and then it's when my mum and dad have split up. And I remember watching that a few years ago and thinking, oh, it made me feel sad, because you know, I knew how sad I felt then, like when it was all happening. And I was watching it and I was like, oh, I see such a difference between, you know, those years before when I was so happy, when I was so happy, and then after. It just being, you could just tell, like my mum was really unhappy. My mum, I think she like struggled, you know, I think she was just kind of a housewife when she was married to my dad, and then all of a sudden she obviously had to get a job and pay a mortgage, and money was tight and it wasn't great. And yet everything was just an argument. So it was, I feel like when I think about it now, and it's only in the last few years, my childhood was actually quite stressful, just because the divorce was so messy. But I always say to you, that's why, with George, I always say to him, like, if we have kids, that is it. Like, we are not putting my kids through how messy my childhood was, like, after the divorce. There's just no way. Like, I know the repercussions of divorce. I know, like, how it is. And, you know, I'm sure there's some people that have had, you know, got, like, relatively positive stories about it. And, like, you know, our parents, they just weren't in love anymore. And it, you know, they just went their separate ways and it was all easy. But for me, it was awful. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah. Obviously, like, mine and Chloe's family lives is completely different because my parents are still together. They've been married since they were 16. So I've never experienced like life as in a divorced family, and quite a lot of my friends, I think the majority of my friends' parents have had divorces.
Oh, really?
I think there's literally only about 4 of my friends whose parents are still together.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare for our age group.
Did they ever talk about, like, were their divorces, were they okay or were they not?
I feel like my friends never really opened up about it like you.
Well, I think it took me a long time. I think it's only sort of recently that I
a lot of my friends, their parents don't talk at all. Like they've got no communication at all.
Same as mine. And even when we were younger and they kind of needed to have communication, they struggled with that. I remember at one point my dad had to pick me up at the end of the road because he wasn't allowed to pick us up outside our house because, you know, they'd end up just arguing. Like.
But a lot of my friends' parents broke up when they were older.
Oh, okay.
So some of them when they were younger, but like that was like before I knew them. But a lot of them were it's like an older split. And I feel like an older split is a lot more easier to deal with than a younger split.
I think so. Yeah, I do think so. And I think what was difficult for me was I was obviously in primary school, and I think I must have, was 7, I think I was like in year 2 or something. And there was one other family in my whole year at school. And because divorce was obviously like years and years ago, like our grandparents and stuff, it was very rare that people got divorced. I just think it was not something that happened. And our parents' generation made it like a thing where, you know, it was acceptable to get a divorce and leave your partner. So when I was in primary school, when I was young, I remember there was one other family, and she's actually my best friend, Lucy. That's probably why we ended up bonding. Her parents got a divorce first, and she was the first one anyone had heard of. Like none of us, I didn't know anyone else whose parents had a divorce, and you know, I'm sure I was quite sheltered. I was only a child. It was probably just everyone in my class or the year or whatever. And I remember thinking, oh no, I hope that's never me. And I felt really sorry for her, and I think everyone was like, oh, she's like, you know, her parents are divorced. Like, you know what kids are like, they're horrible. So everyone kind of like pitied her, and I was like, oh, I hope that's never me. And then when my parents sat me down and was like, we're getting a divorce, literally a few months later.
I literally couldn't imagine that.
It broke my heart, and I was so embarrassed because I felt like everybody, like, even like the parents, like everybody in my, like the kids at the school and all the parents, I feel like everybody sort of like pitied me a little bit, and I really hated it. You know, like all of a sudden I feel like just everybody knew. It probably felt a lot bigger than it actually was, but to like everybody else, I'm sure nobody cared that much. But it felt like this huge thing, and I was so embarrassed, and I was like, oh no, like, and now I'm that kid that's got the divorced parents, and I was just really, really embarrassed about it. So I feel like if my parents had been older, because after that, I'm sure lots of people's parents got a divorce. Like years later, if I'd been in high school, loads of people's parents got divorced. But because it was one of the first ones, I think I like struggled with it. And then, you know, like I was the kid, we got an au pair, and I was like the kid at school that I wasn't picked up by my parents because my parents had to work. So, you know, my au pair would be at the school, and I was like, oh, you know, the kid that mummy and daddy wasn't there. We had an au pair to pick us
It's so
up.
funny because I remember when I was younger, there was such a stigma about parents being divorced. Like you said, everyone would talk about it. And I remember my parents would have an argument and I'd cry, be like, please don't get a divorce.
Yeah.
Please. I'd cry. It'd shatter me. So obviously I'm very lucky that my parents are still together and I've never had to go through what you've gone through. So I will never understand what you've gone through when it comes to divorce.
Yeah.
But my family at Christmas, I've obviously got two sisters, so I was like always the spoiled brat.
I can see that. I'm not completely shocked
I would
about that.
circle every single thing in the Argos catalogue.
Oh, I used to do the Argos catalogue
yeah,
thing
I'd literally
too.
fold the pages so they knew, and I'd circle and I'd star the ones that I really like. And we'd come down at Christmas. I've got two older sisters, so I was the baby of the family. And I'd wake everyone up at 6 o'clock in the morning on the dot, and we'd come downstairs. I'd drag everyone downstairs and I'd start counting each present.
Oh, Courtney.
Yeah, I counted. If my sister had more than me, I'd scream and cry. I was such a brat.
Wait, what's that? There's like in Harry Potter, he says something like, well, it's his birthday, it's not Christmas. He's like, 14 presents, 14. Last year there was 15 or something. I can't remember the actual.
That was literally like me. And Mum would be like, no, because your presents are more expensive, so you get like smaller amount.
Oh, I remember that. As you got older, you'd get like smaller presents.
Yeah, Mum goes, the smaller the present, the more expensive.
Yeah, we got all of that.
And now I understand.
It used to be between me and my brother who got like the biggest box. Who had the biggest wrapped present was like the winner, basically.
Yeah.
And I think, as you get older, you start to get like smaller ones and less presents, and you think, it's really because you're getting better things.
And it's funny because now my mum took me and my sisters to Selfridges to choose what we wanted for Christmas, and my sisters both got presents. I didn't get anything because I didn't want anything. I literally nothing tickled my fancy.
What, this year?
Yeah. So my mum's like, well, you're not gonna open anything. I said, Joe, I don't care. Like, I honestly don't want anything. I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste it.
How wholesome of you.
I know. How much has changed? That's growth.
No, wait. There will
growth.
definitely be something that pops up that you want. So you're
there
not
is
going to have
nothing
any. I don't believe
nothing.
that.
Chloe, I
You
swear
will
there's
cry
nothing
and scream if you wake up with no presents.
Honestly, I honestly don't care.
I
There is
mean,
nothing I want.
This is a complete 360. If this is true, then you
know.
have like gone full circle.
I know. This is growth, Chloe. This is what happens when you get older.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, you were upset in the summer because no one was thinking about your birthday and it was your birthday month. Even though your birthday's at the end of the month, it was like the second and you were like, everyone's just talking about my sister's birthday.
Yeah, but that's...
So I feel like we've grown in 6 months.
My sister was turning 30 and my mum said, my birthday doesn't matter. That is me. And that is life growing up with two sisters. Although we are like best friends, me and my sisters are like best friends. Like we are so close. But yeah... I was that bratty child that counted the presents when we were younger.
So me and George talk about this quite often, actually. We talk about, there's lots of like siblings that don't get along, and I feel like it's quite common. I feel like especially if there's mixed siblings between like boys and girls. I know some people have a great relationship with their brothers and sisters, but some people don't. And me and George always talk about why. Do you think that like you're put against your siblings in like rivalry and in like competition, like you're in competition with your sibling to be like make your parents the proudest, to like do the best at school or get the best job or like, be the first to have a baby or whatever it may be? Like, do you think like, has that ever happened in your family? Do you think your parents have like put you all against each other?
But do you know why? Because it's the age gap.
Yeah.
There's 6 years between me and my oldest sister, so obviously she's going to get married and have a kid first.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even put myself in that category.
How about when it comes to like going to, I don't know,
school?
Although
my middle sister Bianca, she's like, if you get engaged before me, I'll be so pissed off.
Yeah. I get that though.
But I'm like, I don't care though, because I'm just the baby. I'm like, I see myself as the baby compared to my sisters.
Yeah.
So the age gap is 6 years between me and my oldest and 4 years between me and the middle sister. But she's like, if you move out before me, she's a typical middle child.
Yeah, well, I do feel, I get it. I feel like the middle child gets like forgotten about sometimes because, you've got your older sister who's the firstborn, so she'll be like always special. And then the younger one's the baby, so she's special. And then the middle child is kind of always just like, just the middle child. It's middle child syndrome, isn't it? They talk about this all the time. I feel like the middle child is usually like the rebel a little bit.
She has major middle child syndrome.
Really? Yeah, but I feel for her. I get that. I
know, but now my mum and dad feel sorry for her because they treated her like the middle child for her whole life. And now she's treated like the best thing on earth. Like her present she got for Christmas was like more expensive than what my oldest
She deserves
got.
it. She's had so many years of like being like suppressed.
Well, that's
into
what
the middle
that's
child.
what my mum and dad, they're like, oh no, but she deserves it. And I'm thinking, Bloody hell.
But it is true, the middle child is slightly the forgotten one.
She was the forgotten one.
Because, you know, the oldest and the baby, you were the baby, like, oh, so cute, the baby. And then the oldest was the firstborn, so they were so special because they were the first child they brought into the world. And the middle child is just kind of like
and then
nothing. What's the middle child?
Then sometimes me and my oldest sister would gang up on her because, you know, obviously when you go on holidays, there's only 2 beds in a room and then you've got the fucking pull-out bed.
Yeah.
And the youngest always get the pull-out bed. But as I was getting older, I was thinking, no, actually, this is unfair. And then me and my oldest would be like, Bianca, you have to go on the pull-out bed. And we'd like gang up on her.
That is mean.
But yeah, always had to sit in the middle seat in the car. Always had to sit in the middle on the plane.
You were the smallest.
Oh, well, we're all the bloody same height.
There's reasoning behind all of this.
Why does the youngest have to get the middle?
Yeah, the baby is the smallest. So the baby deserves, you know, the middle seat, the pull-out bed. That's what happens when you're the youngest, right?
Yeah. But at least I'm over that stage. Although we're going to Dubai in March for my dad's birthday, and it's going to be so weird because it's like the first holiday we've been in years as a family, but we've all got our own rooms because we've got our partners.
Yes. I was about to say, you're not going to be on the pull-out bed with Callum.
I'm not going to be on the pull-out bed anymore.
Yeah, you'll be like all of you with your partners and stuff, so that's completely different. Yeah, I think that would be like quite nice, a big family holiday, a huge family holiday.
I'm excited.
It's been a few years since I've been on
I feel
one
like
of those.
we've waffled off of our Christmas chat.
Yeah, we have. Anyway, let's get back to Christmas.
Right, let's talk about Christmas traditions. Do you have any Christmas traditions?
Christmas traditions, probably quite similar to most people's, really. You know, my family will all be together. This was always one, and George can never get his head around this one. So with my family were always quite strict, really. Like I was brought up in, they were relatively strict. So this one, George thinks is absolutely outrageous. He can't get his head around this one. So when we were younger, not necessarily, well, even now, really. Yeah, even now. When we were younger, we would... So we would go to my someone in my family. It would either be at my house, or my aunt's house, my cousin's house, my nanny's house, wherever it would be. And we would go there, and we were not allowed to open presents until after Christmas dinner. So when we first got there, so me and my brother were obviously like really, really young. And we would like be sniffing around the Christmas tree, you know, like finding out which, and they'd be like, don't touch.
Oh,
and they would
torture.
that is torture as a child, isn't it? And they would make us have like our prawn cocktail for starter, and then our Christmas dinner, and then our dessert. And me and Ashley would be, my brother is Ashley, we would be like, can we open the presents now? Can we open the presents now? And they'd be like, no, not yet. Let's clear up. Let's get the table away. Like, honestly, I don't.
Oh my God, that is torture.
It is
wake
torture.
Up at 6 a.m, and go downstairs, but even before my parents go, I'd go downstairs and start like trying to rip open the corners to see what I've got.
Once again, doesn't shock me. But no, we would wake up in the morning and open our presents from like Father Christmas and Mummy and Daddy. But then when we got there, it would be like, my aunties would like absolutely spoil us. My aunties and uncles would absolutely spoil us, and my nanny and stuff. We just weren't allowed to open our presents from them until after dinner. But we woke up in the morning and we would open like from Mummy and Daddy and Father Christmas. But yeah, and George was like, that's so cruel. That's like torture. And I'm like, it was like torture actually as a child, because I never enjoyed my Christmas dinner because I used to just think, come
what's
on,
in them presents?
Hurry up, everyone, stop eating. Like, I need to open my presents. So yeah, that was a weird tradition that we had. I'm not sure why that ever nope, or how that ever started. I feel like it was probably my Auntie Karen. She's like the strict one. She'd be like, nope. They should learn how to like restrain themselves from like ripping them open. But yeah, that's the only weird one. I think that recently, when it comes to like Christmas dinner, I requested this year mac and cheese with our Christmas dinner.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I've seen a few people do it over the last few years. So I said to my mum, please, can we have some mac and cheese? I think that's a great addition to a roast dinner.
Unbelievable. So my Christmas dinner is obviously not the conventional Christmas dinner, because where I come from, a Jewish family, and my grandma is kosher.
Oh, okay.
So we can't have the average Turk on the...
So what do you have, like a kosher turkey?
We have a kosher turkey.
Does it taste any different?
Tastes do you know what? I actually think it tastes nicer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does kosher mean?
It's just been blessed.
Oh, okay.
It's just been blessed.
Then it probably tastes exactly the same.
It's been blessed and killed in a certain way.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we have kosher turkey. We have chicken canadle soup for starters. Don't have your prawn cocktails.
Is that the chicken soup I've had at your house
Yeah.
before? Fair dues. I like that. It's very, very nice.
Your traditional kosher Jewish chicken.
And what are the
chicken noodle
crouton
soup.
things that
and
you...
the croutons?
Yeah,
the best.
unreal.
And then we also have chopped liver, which is disgusting. I hate that. Yeah, I hate it. Chopped liver and egg mayonnaise with bread to start.
What?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's just blown my mind. That I didn't even know that. I've known Courtney for a long time, and you've never told me that.
So this is what you'd have at a typical Friday night dinner.
Okay.
So that's what we have.
Sabbath, is that a Friday night dinner?
Shabbos, yeah.
Oh, Sabbath, okay.
I'm
I know that
impressed.
from Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, yeah, I'm impressed by you.
Have you seen that musical, Fiddler on the
I
Roof?
have. I went to see it in the theatre as well.
I went to see it in New York. It was amazing. I learned lots about the Jewish community.
So when I was younger, I obviously done 8 days of Hanukkah, where we'd get a present each
I
day.
thought it was 12 days of Hanukkah.
No, it's 8 days of Hanukkah.
Oh, I got that wrong.
And there's 12 days of Christmas now.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That's why I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting confused here.
So we'd have 8 days of presents for Hanukkah, and then we'd have Christmas Day, which would be like all our main presents. So as a child, I was very lucky. Obviously, we don't do that now. We
do
still
you
like
not?
the Hanukkah.
Is that the candle, the candelabra?
menorah. We still like that, but we don't do any presents.
Okay. So wait, so you light one candle each day?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I always remember when I was younger, my mum had like a dance school, just like a Saturday dance school. And there was a girl in the Saturday dance school, and she was Jewish, and I think they were like very religious. So I don't think they celebrate Christmas at all, or whatever they do. I don't really know. But I just remember being like a 6-year-old child and her telling me that they did Hanukkah and that she got like a present every day for a certain amount of time. I remember being like to my mum, why don't I get a present every day leading up to Christmas? She was like, well, because we're not Jewish. So, and I just always remember, it always stuck with me. That was the first time I learned about the present every day.
Yeah.
Would it be like a big present or just like a small present?
It obviously depends on the family, but we'd get,
Yeah.
because obviously a lot of Jewish people don't celebrate Christmas, they'd obviously get a big present every day, whereas because we celebrate Christmas, we get our big presents at Christmas and
Yeah.
little like a hairbrush or something like that on Hanukkah.
So I'm always interested in stuff like this. So, like, I know you might not know this because it's very different, but like Orthodox Jews, and they're very, 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 very religious. And I'm sure they don't celebrate Christmas at all, like nothing at all. What would they do like around Christmas time when everything's closed? And, do you know what they do on Christmas Day? Is it like, do they do like a Sabbath dinner or something maybe?
Well, I guess it depends. Does it Christmas land on a Friday?
Well, it will be different every year, wouldn't it? But I'm not sure about this year.
I think they'll just go on as a normal day.
Yeah,
They're
just like they've got a day off.
Yeah, well, my dad's obviously, his company is like a Jewish company, so he
Yeah.
is open over Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like as normal.
So other than Hanukkah, what day is actual? Is Hanukkah just over 8 days, or
It's-
is it
yeah,
at the
it's-
end? Is it a big celebration, or no? Is it just completely
Every day
over
is a celebration.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if some of you might have seen in your areas, but I know in Essex, in every area, they have a massive menorah.
Yeah, the candle.
Yeah, and every night that they do like a big event outside,
Yeah.
and they light the light each night. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like they've actually got
they've
one.
got
just
one
out-
outside.
I think that one's new. I always remember being younger and only ever seeing the Gants Hill one, and
Yeah,
now
so
they're everywhere
they've got
now.
Gants Hill, Loughton, Epping.
Now they're everywhere, yeah.
Chigwell, they've got one everywhere. So I'm not sure about other people's areas. Obviously, if they do it in your area, please let me know because I'd love to know. So yeah, it's like a big event every night for Hanukkah. Like you sing
Yeah.
songs, you eat food, and
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Has it started already?
it's finished now.
Oh.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of December.
I missed it.
You missed it. Oh,
Damn
darn.
it. Darn it.
Yeah, it was actually at the beginning of December.
Oh, okay. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that you still do like a Christmassy thing. When I remember when we first started being friends, and our other friend Madison is Jewish as well. And I always remember being like, oh, maybe they don't celebrate Christmas, and then going around both your houses and it'd be like decked out with a Christmas tree, decorations, and I'd be like, okay,
I know,
they do.
we're like the worst Jewish people ever.
No, I just feel like it's nice to decorate anyway. I feel like you don't, realistically, I know there's obviously, it originates from like a religious story, but realistically, does anyone actually say, not many people say a prayer on Christmas Day?
I saw someone put on out there that Christmas is a money-making festival.
Of course it is.
No one does Christmas, well, apart from religious people, no one does Christmas because they believe in the story, well, because they obviously, don't want to offend
Yeah.
anyone.
No,
But
yeah.
like, obviously people believe in the story, and there's people like us who do it because it's fun. It's
just
a bit
like-
of
it's
fun,
like an
it's
end
nice,
of
it's
year.
festive, you're with the family.
It's an end of year celebration, isn't it? You don't have to believe in God or Jesus to celebrate Christmas. But I was brought up quite religious. We would go to like midnight mass. My mum would always take us we would do like the family Christmas Eve We'd go to the church. Sometimes we went on Christmas Day. Like, I was actually brought up quite religious, but yeah, I think that for most people, it's just a nice, it's about family. It's about like being together, about like celebrating that the year's coming to an end. I think that's why I find it sad. I'm not sure. Well, then, of course there is. I'm not going to say that. Of course, there's loads of people that celebrate it for the religious reasons. But yeah, I feel like you can. I read something the other day, and actually this is related to children. That somebody was saying that if you have children, when they get older and they start to not believe in Father Christmas, just because they don't believe in Father Christmas doesn't mean that they can't believe in Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Like, I still believe in Christmas.
Oh my God, can we please talk about the moment you found out Father Christmas wasn't real? Because this was the most traumatic day of my life.
I mean, I was the baby in my family. I had an older brother, so you can imagine, he just told me one day, I think I was asking my mum and dad, like, should we put out the mince pie for Father Christmas? And my brother was just literally like, are you stupid? Like, Father Christmas isn't even real. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that was kind of that's how he delivered it to me. So I think I argued with him as well.
What?
Like,
no,
yeah, Father Christmas is real. Like, of course he's real. Mom, is it real? I think it was that kind of like.
How old was you?
I don't remember, but probably. I feel like when you're younger, it starts circulating in school, doesn't it? Like, one person finds out and then kind of starts circulating. But I actually always remember, maybe I was just really immature. I always remember like years and years later, and I'd say to everyone, oh yeah, Father Christmas, of course I know Father Christmas isn't real, but realistically I actually still believed in him. Like, deep down, I used to think, no, I think he's actually real. I actually think it's real. But I just didn't want to admit that because I didn't want to be like the complete loser in school that still believed.
I was quite lucky that my sisters enjoyed the excitement with me, so they kept it a secret for
I feel like because they're that little bit older,
yeah,
they do like enjoy, whereas my brother was only like 16 months older than me, so do you know what I mean? He hated me.
Yeah. And I feel like boys are like, oh, Christmas, whereas girls are like, all my sisters got so excited. So it was actually really nice. They kept it like a secret from me for years and years and years, until I came down one day, saw their presents wrapped, and one of my presents was wrapped in my wallpaper.
So Father Christmas had ripped your... Wait, what? He'd ripped your wallpaper off
no,
your
because
wall?
obviously
there was
spare, and my mum and dad had obviously run out of wrapping paper, so they wrapped it in my wallpaper. And I was like, hold on a minute, how's he wrapped it in my... And it just didn't make sense to me.
They could have covered their backs with that one and just put a tag on it saying this one's from Mummy and Daddy.
Oh no, it said from Father Christmas.
Oh.
So I was like, no, this can't be right. And then that's when they broke it to me.
Oh, that's really sad.
Really
so your
sorry,
parents broke it to you?
Yeah.
I
sussed it out. I was like, I think I asked too many questions and they were getting themselves... And I was a bit older at this point. I think I was about to start high school. And that's when you should really start to know that Father Christmas isn't real at 11 years old.
Well, there's like a fine line, isn't there? Because you want your children to believe in it, but then you don't want them to be so old they believe in it that they're kind of like picked on at school because they're the only one that still believes in it.
That's like,
there is a fine line.
Callum's nephew started school in year 7, and she was like, I have to tell him that Father Christmas isn't real, because he can't be going to school being like, Father Christmas is real, and his friends being like, no, it's not. So she had to break it to him. But it's funny, when I see him, I'm like, what's Father Christmas get? If you know full well he knows it's not real in a minute, and he still plays along with it.
Oh, yeah, but he might be like me, like believed deep down, just didn't admit it to people. I feel like you could say to your children, couldn't you? You know, you're going to go to big school, and in big school, lots of people, you know, they'll say that they don't believe in Father Christmas. That's because they want to be cool, but actually he's real. So let's just keep it our secret. You could say something like that, no?
I must be. And I remember I was heartbroken.
Yeah, no,
and
I
then
remember being heartbroken.
And then from then, Christmas became less and less exciting.
I know, it's true, isn't it? You want this man with a beard and a red suit to come down your chimney and leave you presents, and when you find out it's just your parents.
I used to wait up and look out my window to see if he'd land on my roof.
I know, I used to, that's what my auntie Val still says to me now. Bearing in mind, I'm 30 years old, and I'm one of the youngest in my family. Like, there's no like children in my family anymore. We're all sort of grown up. My auntie Val, every year, she sees us all on Christmas Day, and she's like, did you hear his sleigh last night, the jingle bells? I did. I heard them. And I'm like, yes, I heard them too. Like, she still, like, every year tries to say it to us, like, as if we all believe. I'm like, oh. I do believe in the magic of Christmas, though. I just think that's amazing. And I can't say I have seen people on Instagram going to Lapland. I cannot wait to have children to go to Lapland.
I know. Well, we can take Hudson Madison, and we
Oh
can
my
take
God, yeah.
and we can take Madison's baby as our excuse.
Okay, I'm going to tag along because I really, really, really want to go.
I know.
Not for the children, for me.
I want to go to the real life Lapland.
Oh, me too. Me too.
But then I said it would look a bit weird if me and Callum just hopped on a plane with all these kids and we're just like the only adults.
Well, no, I was trying to convince. Oh, I feel like there's a spider on my face. I was trying to convince George for us to go to Lapland, and actually the other day we went out for dinner with two of our friends, this couple, and a few years ago they went just their couple
Really?
to Lapland.
I really want to go.
Yeah, they said they had a great time.
Or maybe
George
we'll
is-
do like a foursome.
Let's do it, because no, George said to me, no, we'll wait till he's got children. Why are we going to go now? He would love it, really, though. He just plays
the
cool.
Sleighs. And
Yeah.
like, there's a spa. Apparently, there's like an unreal
See
spa.
the Northern Lights.
Unreal.
Yeah, it would be amazing. It would be a really good thing. So I have been getting lots of DMs since I said on this podcast that years ago, 7 years ago or something, George left me for somebody else. And then a few years later, we got back together. People have been messaging me, asking me how I got over that and how I moved on from that. Honestly, with great difficulty. It wasn't easy. I can say it.
Chloe did make him pay his dues.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there was lots of sucking up. There was lots of like, owing me. I said sometimes I still feel like I feel like he's still like repaying me now. But it took a long time. I can talk about it easily now and it not bother me, just because it's been a long time now. But when we got back together, for the first sort of 2 years, I think, of our relationship, I struggled big time. Really, really struggled.
I remember that.
I just everything. Like I like hated him for it. I hated that he did that to me, and I hated that because obviously it broke my heart, and I was absolutely like on the floor, devastated. And I hated that he made me feel like that. And yeah, I was just so angry at him. But, he made it up to me, and he sort of, I think what helped was that he was angry at himself. Like he hated that he had made me feel like that. And when I told him how I felt and how it all went down, he was just, he was sort of almost like heartbroken as well, that he'd done that, he'd put me through that, and he was really upset, and, it was a mistake and whatever else, and just lots of grovelling, basically. And I struggled, obviously, to trust him for a while. I thought that he would do it again. I was worried. I struggled. And then after a while, you just kind of get over it.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, like, once you forgive someone, you've forgiven them for a reason, so you kind of just have to let it go.
Yeah, like, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it was me that decided to take him back and get over it. So I kind of had to move on from it. I kind of had no choice. But I loved him so much that I had no choice, basically. I needed to get over it. But yeah, I really struggled. It was really difficult. Like the first few years, actually, of our relationship when we got back together was quite turbulent because of that. We argued about nothing else but that. And yeah, I don't know, like people always say to me now, like, I'm so chilled about it now. I don't actually care. I can talk about it. It doesn't really bother me at all. I can go in like detail and talk about it to people and explain it because it just, it doesn't bother me. Like I trust him now. And also I think, I know it's very easy to say this, but to actually like think it, like in a relationship, you just kind of have to trust someone, because if they're going to cheat on you or leave you or whatever else, they're going to do it anyway. And the more you go on about it, probably like they'll probably be pushed to do it, I think, sort of thing. You just don't want to plant that seed in their head. So I feel like you might as well just enjoy your relationship. And
if you don't trust your boyfriend, you just shouldn't be with them.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest feeling. Like, I have so much trust in Callum.
Yeah.
When he goes out, I literally couldn't give a shit. I'm like, go enjoy yourself. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when you know it's right. If you're really, really, really not trusting your boyfriend and freaking out, you're in the wrong relationship.
Yeah. So, but the thing was, it was very hard for me because, honestly, it's so messy. But in those years when he wasn't with me and he was with the person that he left me for, he was like, effectively, this is going to make him sound awful, he's going to hate all of this, but he was like basically cheating on her with me. So he would see me every now and then. We would still speak. It wasn't like we didn't speak at all. We would still speak. He would see me. So I struggled. I basically went from the other girl to them being his girlfriend. So I struggled, and I know there would be times when he would tell her that he was at football, really he was with me. And so when it got to me and him being together, he would say, I'm going to football, I would be terrified.
Because there is that saying, if they're going to cheat on with you, they're going to cheat on you.
Exactly. Like, and so it took me a really, really long time. But, you know, he put Find My Friend on our phone, so I always knew where he was. He just always reassured me because I think he knew that he had to. And then, yeah, like after a few years of him proving himself and him being like squeaky clean and not doing anything and just being like very open. I've said this before, very open with his phone. Like I've never, weirdly, after all of this, I've never, ever, ever felt the need to go down George's phone. But that's because he'll open it in front of me. He'll message people in front of me. He'll give it to me and say, I'll find this contact on my phone. Or he'll give it to me and say, oh, direct me, go on maps and direct. Do you know what I mean? He's very open with his phone. He's very like, and so I know that I've got nothing to find. I also know that he's very clever, and if he was doing something, he would delete all of it. So there's just no point in me going through his phone anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, especially with us being in the spotlight a little bit, if he was to ever do anything, like,
Well,
you know,
that's what I found out through someone Instagramming me.
exactly.
So.
I feel like we would find out like that. Like, it's honestly, I get messages sometimes. My boyfriend, he'll be out like in the city out with work or whatever, and I'll get like a random message from a random person saying, I've just seen your boyfriend in the Ned, or like, do you know what I mean, a bar in London somewhere, and I'd be like, yeah, I know he's in the Ned, I know who he's with, like, cool. Like, what, it's not a secret that he's there. So yeah, it just took me a really long time, and it was really messy, and I didn't trust him for a really long time, but he proved himself, and he turned it around, so, and here we are. So, you know, we got through it.
It's all good things.
Yeah, it all happened. It was messy, but we got there in the end. So this week, Colt, I have remembered the snacks.
Thank God, because we've gone 2 weeks without doing our try and snacks.
I know,
I've
it's
been
all
really
my fault.
upset.
It's all my fault. So what do we want to do today? Because I have South African snacks, or I have some
Let's
Irish
do South
crisps.
African, because South African ones were the ones we meant to do a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So let's follow on from South African ones.
Okay, look, my duty-free bag. Let's get them out. So what do we have here?
I'm quite excited to try this because you did say it's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, no.
I don't know why I said I'm excited to try it, because you said it's
So
disgusting.
this is biltong.
Oh, that looks weird.
Which is basically like dried meat. I think like beef jerky kind of thing.
That looks weird.
These are, what are these? This is like chutney flavoured roasted corn.
Oh, I reckon that could be quite nice.
I mean, there's 4,000 of them, so I hope that they're nice.
There really are 4,000 of them.
And then this is something called a peach roll, which looks like a dog chew, honestly.
Just show everyone.
It looks like a dog chew. That looks absolutely
Is it?
disgusting.
That literally looks like...
Is that something you
It
would give to
feels
Maple?
horrible. That literally something I'd give to Maple. Peach
Okay,
roll. Could be
so
quite
where
nice.
are we? What do you want to try first?
Let's try these.
The
'Cause
dried
these are the ones,
meat?
I feel like these are the ones you kept going on about.
Well, it's just because they kept trying to give them to me on safari, and I just found it really upsetting that I was like eating an animal while, I can't. It makes me feel ill. Look at that dried meat. Yuck.
So is it not cooked? Or is it cooked?
I don't know. I think it's just like dried out, isn't it?
Oh, I'm scared.
I don't actually know if they cook it and then dry it out. It looks absolutely disgusting. It
Let's
looks like
go.
dog food. Are you going to put it? How big is your piece? Oh, yours, I'm going to break a bit off. I really don't like it. Okay.
It looks like crispy bacon.
I don't think it does. I think maybe it just bothers me. Oh, I don't like it.
Just looks very meaty.
Oh, God, it'll make me feel sick.
Yeah, now it's gone a bit chewy.
I don't like it at all.
Now it's gone a bit chewy. It's a bit disgusting.
Oh, no. I feel like it tastes like blood.
Don't say that, because you're going to make me feel sick.
Man's gone, I got it down. I had to get it down. And it leaves an after... Oh, my God.
Well, don't say it. Don't say it.
I'll tell you after lunch. Have you eaten it?
I've finished.
It's ostrich.
I feel sick.
You've just eaten an
I
ostrich.
a fucking poor ostrich.
See? It's disgusting.
Ostrich is a really ugly animal as well.
I was watching the ostrich run around safari parks only a few months ago.
Oh, well, that's really freaked me out.
Ugh.
Okay,
I
so
can, taste it in my mouth
just to
still.
explain, at first it tasted like crispy bacon, and then it started to get soft and soggy, and then that's when it started to make me feel a bit sick.
It looks like, honestly, that what you give to dogs.
Right, try this sausage.
That can go in the bin. Sausage, the mango chew. Oh no, sorry, a peach roll. Got that wrong. I mean, this should be nice, but
I reckon my dad would like that.
take it home for him then.
No, 'cause it's going to stink my car out.
How do you think we eat this?
I guess you break a bit off, like a what was that sweet we used to have when we were younger? Oh, don't say it's going to be dry. I hate dried fruit.
I think it's dried
I
fruit.
hate dried fruit.
Clearly, they like to dry things in South Africa. Dried
'Cause
meat,
it's so
dried
hot
fruit.
there.
Ready?
What's the next? It's going to be like a neck.
Oh, that's not bad.
What is that fruit? The dried peach. What is it?
It's dried peach.
Yeah,
It's like something you'd get from Holland and Barrett, you know, in those
they
packets.
do them in Waitrose.
I mean, I don't love it, but it's way after eating that dried ostrich.
Well, at least we
That
know
is
it's not a dried animal.
Disgusting. Okay, shall we open these?
Yeah, I feel like these are going to be nice.
Roasted corn chutney flavour. I mean, there is enough to feed an army here.
I reckon these would be nice to put out, you know, for Christmas as a little like. You should take them to your mum's if they're nice. Go. Oh, I don't like that.
I don't mind that.
Do you like it?
It literally tastes like curry.
That's probably why.
It literally tastes like curried.
I
like a
don't eat
Christmas
curry.
snack.
I only eat chicken korma.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like keep eating them, but
Well,
that's the best thing out of the three.
I think the dried peaches.
I really know the corn's the best thing for me.
All right. South African snacks. We done it.
What do we rate them out of 1 to 10?
All right. So the
I
dried.
mean, in comparison to like the Filipino ones, those chili fish that we had once.
Yeah, that was fucking disgusting. Right. So I give these like a 3.
Oh wow, that's higher than I could then.
Only because the beginning was actually all right, and I feel like if you liked that sort of thing, it would be really nice. What would you give it?
Honestly, like a 1. Barely that.
I'd give these a 4.
I'd probably
don't like
give
the
those
taste.
a 5 or a 6.
I don't like the taste, and I'd give that about a 6.
Oh wow, probably like a 5 I'd give that. I still thought they were pretty disgusting. But luckily for you, next week I have Irish snacks because I went to Belfast.
I'm
and
excited for this.
And they're crisps.
I love crisps.
Yeah, so crisps are good. I feel like crisps are
I love crisps.
pretty solid.
Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. This is our last step before Christmas. There will be one after Christmas. But Merry Christmas. Have a lovely time. Stay safe.
And eat all those roast
Yeah,
potatoes.
eat whatever you want the next few days.
See you later.
See you soon.
Mwah.